Hi, thank you for joining the live today. We are continuing with this book, Power Forward. The cool thing about this book is it takes you on a journey about a young man's experience and life journey through illiteracy and becoming the top of the educational environment of his world after being illiterate for so many years. Chapter 1 we spoke about in the previous live stream. If you check that out, make sure you take a look at that and see a little bit about what I talked about. Now, I'm not going through the details of the chapters because I want you to get the book and see the journey for yourself. I was so almost overwhelmed at how he brings the reader right into the book, brings you right along his side, as though you were sitting there watching and being a part of every single aspect of this journey. So in chapter 1, we spoke about the introduction and a couple of things that he went through, but just enough to give you a little touch. Chapter 2, I couldn't wait to get to chapter 2. I'm so excited about being there. I had work to do and I finally got to it. And Dean Tolson is definitely a man far beyond his years in wisdom and knowledge, and just a heart of absolute gold. Absolute gold. Chapter 2 talks about his elementary school and what he went through in elementary school and how certain things happened to bring him to the point that he is today, but in a different light. It was a saddened time for me. It was kind of saddened, but he had a way of bringing in the joy at the end of that particular segment of his life as a child, and how the educational system did an injustice to him as a child. But he doesn't put it in those words because he's taking you along on the journey with this particular book. So chapter 2, there are two things I want to read out of this particular chapter and share with you. I am loving this book, by the way. Definitely get that. As a matter of fact, you can get this and then put in the comments as I'm going along through some of the chapters of this book, what you're feeling about it and what you think about it and your thoughts about his journey powering forward. Okay, let's see, where is this that I want to read? Today, Mr. Jordan's style of the discipline would land him in jail. But back then it was considered normal. Think about that. How many things in our childhood were considered normal back then, but today it'd be a totally different world. I can think of a few myself. My mother, my mother did some things that she would be put in jail today. That's if we had the nerve to even tell on her, right? But I think a lot of people have that story. So he talks a little bit about that and what was going on in this particular area, this particular place that he had to work with and that he had to deal with at such a very young age. Now, he also mentioned that school had never been a priority. Okay, school, for many of us, school was a super priority. For me, when I was growing up, school was number one. Education was number one. No matter what, schools are a priority. You're going to get through elementary school, you're going to get through middle school, you're going to get through college or high school, then you're going to go to college and you're going to get a great job and you're going to have the white picket fence, you're going to get married and you're going to have little children running all over the place and graduate. And the story goes on and on and on, right? The American dream, the white picket fence, and the wonderful family relationship. It doesn't always work out like that. But that's the picture that is put forth through many educational environments. In this particular case, it wasn't necessarily the picture, but he talks about that, where he had to go. He mentions trouble wasn't hard to find in Kansas City. And even the dumbest, most impulsive idea could cost you your life. Well, I looked at that and I was like, okay, trouble wasn't hard to find in Kansas City. Trouble's not hard to find in Indianapolis, Indiana. Trouble definitely isn't hard to find in Seattle, Washington. Trouble's not hard to find in Chicago, Illinois. Trouble is not hard to find in in Santiago, Dominican Republic. So wherever you go, you can have so many places that trouble's not hard to find. In this case, he had to work hard to keep himself in a position that he could do the things that he wanted to go. And at the end of this particular chapter 2, he makes a comment I'm not even going to say what this comment is because it will make you smile. When you look at the rest of the chapter, you're like, oh, wow, oh, no, oh, no. And then you get this sinking feeling in your heart that's just like, oh, wow. And you almost lose breath because of the way he writes this book and the journey that he takes you on. But then those last couple of sentences of chapter 2, you feel like you have power going forward to move into chapter 3. So I haven't read chapter 3 yet. I'm going through this day by day, and I'm excited about it. I also want you to be excited about it. And getting this book, putting it in your heart, seeing how you are captivated and brought in at the very beginning of this book, and feeling his journey of illiteracy to Magna Cum Laude and many other achievements and awards and recognitions that he got throughout his life after being illiterate for so many years, and how the system just pushed it on through. But you'll see in detail how that happened when you get this book. So I do want to give a special shout out to Dean Tolson. You've done a great job with this book. I think the way that you have brought your audience in to feel from the inside, from the every single fiber of your being, how illiteracy can affect a child and how that affects that child the rest of their life, and also how you can overcome just about anything when you set your mind to it. So again, chapter 2, heartbreaking, but it gives hope at the end of the chapter. Power Forward, Dean Tolson, his journey from illiterate MBA player to Magna Cum Laude master's degree. My hat goes off to him and to many others of you who are out there in the educational learning environment and who are having success, who are overcoming challenges and struggles, and you're making a difference not only in your life, but the lives of your family, and leaving a legacy for people to follow. Thank you so much for watching this live stream. Make sure you check out the link associated with this video. Make sure you give me a follow, and I will see you in the next live stream.